go for it.
So I'm going to ask Nick. I heard this morning that they're saying that people can become reinfected, which is something I didn't, or maybe I heard it, but the last day or two. And most people assume that if they had the COVID virus, that they can't become reinfected, and now they potentially.
He disappeared. Maybe he got reinfected. Ankit. Oh, he's coming back.
I'm here.
Okay, yeah. Well, I mean, but the thing is, the way I understand that's quite common now. What I grew up in a half medical family because my mother became the head nurse at Tampa General Hospital. Mm-hmm. So I always got the hospital stories since I was a kid. Okay, one of the hospital stories I got, and she had all these medical books because she was the head nurse of I don't know, they had hundreds of nurses underneath her, and one thing that one of the stories she gave me was that people have relapses. Okay, in other words, they would get a virus or disease, they would be technically cured and then would come back. So the thing is, it's not uncommon, but the real problem is, and I went over this earlier, is that you got to play the odds. In other words, what is the percentage that actually comes back? And I don't think we know that yet on this particular virus. And it could be a very low percent. It could be 5%, maybe 2%, maybe 1%. And that's one reason data is so important, because data gives you an indication of the odds and where to play the odds in terms of this. Because after a while, it does, and that's the reason people want data and they want testing. Because then you can analyze the data and analyze the testing and make smart decisions. Without that, you're guessing, and so the thing is, we just really don't know, right? Mm-hmm. But I think what happened, they had a couple of cases where people, hey, I'm cured of coronavirus. They went about their business, and then it came back again.
Ambulances are not easily accessible.
Not the ambulance.
So this man and his family started their own free ambulance service using motorbikes.
Hospital 50 किलोमीटर जाना पड़ेगा। ये मेरे जाने का 1 घंटा लगेगा। ये बाइक नहीं, ये जीवन बचाने वाला चीज है, इंसानियत को।
Karimul is known around the region as the bike Balu because of the good work that he's doing in his community.
देखिए 5,500 से ज्यादा ले गया अभी तक। हम 19 साल चलताएगा, 19 साल। तो मेरी जो माँ का भाई हुआ था, तो बीमारी के चलते माँ को हॉस्पिटल लेने नहीं सीखा। रात 3 बजे 3:30 बजे माँ ध्यान हो चुका। मन में ये दूर लगा मेरे को, अगर हॉस्पिटल लेके जाता उसको, वो नहीं मरता। हमारा गांव का किसी बंदा को, किसी माँ को बिना इलाज से, ट्रीटमेंट से मैं मरने ना दूंगा। तो वो है मेरे दिमाग में आया, एक मोटरसाइकिल एम्बुलेंस के काम कर सकता है, इसीलिए एक बाइक लिया है। ये जो बाइक है मेरा, और बाइक लेके मैं कहाँ जाता हूँ? मेडिकल कॉलेज 70 किलोमीटर 80 किलोमीटर बाइक लेके, डे नाइट फ्री सर्विस। मेरा नंबर लगा हुआ मोटरसाइकिल में। इमरजेंसी बहुत होता है, बहुत। ये तो रात 1 बजे 2 बजे इमरजेंसी कल हर एक टाइम आता है मेरे पास। तो सबसे डर होता है, जंगल से हमको जाना पड़ता है ना, उसमें बाइक से निकलता, हाथी निकलता है। एक पेशेंट के लेके कैसे कितना दूर मैं आऊँ, कितना दूर मैं जाऊँ, हाँ, ये तो मुश्किल का बात है ना। हम लोग का देखिए ऑल फैमिली एक काम में अभी है, ऑल फैमिली है, इसमें मैं अकेले नहीं हूँ। अभी एक काम में बहुत जोर आ गया है। हम लोग इस सेवा मेरा लड़का लोग करते हैं, मेरे से ज्यादा काम कर सकते हैं। ये पैगंबर भाईस्ता लोग भी चलाता है, मेरे बीवी ज्यादा काम करते हैं, मेरा भाईस्ता, मेरे दादा बहुत काम करते हैं। मैं लड़का लोग को भी बता के जाऊंगा, गाँव वालों को भी बता के जाऊंगा, और कुछ आदमी करने सके गाँव में मेरे काम। इसीलिए एक काम के लिए हर एक जगह में बता देता हूँ, ऐसे ऐसा काम करना चाहिए। मेरे पापा माँ बहुत गरीब है, लेकिन मेरे सब गर्व होता है मेरा। मेरा सामने में आके खड़ा होता है, भैया मेरा जान बच गया, बहुत खुशी हुआ मैं भी। तो ऐसा काम करने से दिल में भी अच्छा लगता है।
Solin, you won't believe this guy was taking people on bikes from 19 years and only on a two-wheeler. And now he have added the bed basically so that people can lay down and do it. And this is I am talking about the rural India where
Wow.
we have problems and hospitals are still far away from there. So people are doing it as a community help. And when Kimberly said that you are not doing the way you can manage your hospitals and hotels and maybe public places utilized for the COVID patients. In India, I mean, I don't know, I mean, but we have a tendency to work for community and we donate a lot of things. So we might expect a lot of money from government, but we donate as well and try to help poor people and whatever ways we can. So you won't believe a lot of hospitals and a lot of hotels, they have been operated by government right now. Or maybe if they are doing it, it's being run by a community where we are inviting people and doctors and whoever would love to, I mean, utilize the space and stay for an isolation or things like that. And a lot of hotels, if you know about Taj hotels, so they are supplying a lot amount of food every day to patients, to doctors, and to needed people because they don't have any business right now, but they wanted to do something for the community and for the people. So that's what they're doing. So that's happening around India. It's not about Delhi. It's happening around India basically, and that's why we are protecting each other and trying to do the best we can so that everyone will stay alive. And in our country, still we believe that no one should die. It's not about that we are okay with someone dying. No one should die basically. That is what the mindset is, and that's why we have been locked down since a while. A lot of states have zero patients, have zero quarantine patients as well. No patients, no one is in symptoms, but still they're locked down because of following the odds. That's what happening in India.
So I'm a true believer in the data, and the data tells us whether we're doing something right or wrong. And you know, this is the world data, 3,000,021, and it's 1209. So it should have, it was updated since this morning because they update the numbers only once a day, only 5 days a week. They don't update over the weekend. So I guess because they don't get paid, I don't know. But anyway, so to me, that's a significant amount of global, you know, but you look at it globally. Nick pointed something out to us. Go to the far right column of the third one from the right, which, well, wait, something's missing. Deaths per 1 million population. If you take a look at that, that's the number you want to take a look at for how well do you have control over something. And again, this is the world, and there's something missing. Did I pull up the wrong one? The U.S. is it? The U.S. is it?
I mean, if you have to change the sorting thing. You have click a button which change the sorting of the table.
Well, let me reset because the U.S.
country wise. If you click on a country, it will sort out in a different manner.
Okay, let's see. Click here. Let's see. Well, I just had it up before the show and I did a reset. There we go. There's the U.S. I was going to say, boy, these numbers were wrong when I was looking at them. So it was in the middle of resetting all the numbers. So if you take a look, we're real close to 1 million cases. You know, as of yesterday, 4,328 new cases. We probably know that the majority of this is in New York. When I look at the United States thing, but if you look at deaths per 1 million population, that's where you want to look at.
I'm surprised to see France with 7,000 tests over 1 million. Can you see that, Kim? France?
Where? France, yes.
Yeah. You can see the test.
Total test, wow, yeah. Italy did over 1.5 million. We've only done 500,000. Spain has done over close to 1.5 million. But Germany done 2 million. Russia did 3 million. That's interesting. That's very, very interesting. If you take a look at their deaths per 1 million, I
What
guess testing
in
works.
Australia?
I guess testing works because if
What
you
about
catch it
Hong Kong,
early,
Australia, and South Korea as far as the
Hong
testing is
Kong
concerned?
just
Do
shows
we have numbers?
Hong Kong only had 4 deaths. Hong Kong had 4 deaths in the last 7 weeks. There's Australia. They've done a total of 232,000, and they have a total of 61 per 1 million. A total of 549 deaths. Singapore, again, is very low in death rates. But again, they took on, I think, the same habits that Hong Kong did, right? Uh,
Yeah.
I'm shocked at the low amount of tests. Well, 121,000, that's not low. But they did a lot of testing, right? 2 deaths per million. Japan, they've done 150,000 tests, and they've had 3 deaths per 1 million people. So when you look at the per capita numbers, it's a significant. UAE did 1 million tests.
Yeah.
Again, let's take this down. Bangladesh, 0.9.
Australia.
Let's take it. I'm looking for Hong Kong. They should be. There's
Hong Kong
Hungary.
would be-
Greece had 13 per million. So all of the low ones, it looked like they did a significant amount of testing. Ghana, has 0.4
New
people
Zealand,
died. New Zealand, 4 per 1 million.
Hong Kong, here's Hong Kong. Yeah. So
There's Hong Kong, only 4 deaths. If you take a look, they did 145,000 tests, which, they feel like they didn't do enough testing, but look how well controlled they are, right?
they are very close
0.5.
to COVID because they are. This is the country which is close to China.
Well, they had the right pandemic answers. Okay, they apparently had a pandemic team control them, not their leaders, but they had a team. They had the answers. They had the policies in place that we did not have in place. And here's what's shocking to me: in 2017, the U.S. ranked #1 in the world for pandemic solutions. We literally won the world award. And what happened?
Yeah.
Why? And question, I have a big question. How did we win it? By what means and tools did we use to win the pandemic crisis solutions of the world award? So I think if we look at this, and like Nick says, look at the ratio, right, per 1 million.
Yeah.
I think you'll have the answer of who wins the award of having the answers. And if you look at how many people are in each country, I would take a look at the high populated. Where's India? I don't see India in here.
India would be on the 20th position. It's not so far. If you count people, yeah. So total cases of around 25,000. So in that group, India is. You need to
So for your populated amount, the concentrated area, you've got a control over it, right? Your leaders might feel like they're not doing as good of a job because it keeps climbing, but we've learned that you've got to hit the peak.
Yeah.
Before you've got to hit that peak, and then you let the peak go down. Just like the doctor wrote the other day in Greensboro, she wrote the letter. Let us get this peaked out, and then let us drop the numbers to where we barely have any people sick with it. Then let's go back out because we can control it. Then we're starting from 0, right? Let's clean up, but let's don't say, oh, okay, we think we have it under control. We've been locked. This is some mindsets. We've been locked down for 3 weeks. We don't have it. You still don't know, and you still don't know who else has it. In my mind, 3 weeks is not enough. And I talk to people who go, I'm not sure if I have it, but I'm going to stay in. I have symptoms. I'm running fever, chills, hard to breathe. But they're not even going to go see the doctor unless it gets to the point that I hope they don't. And I keep saying, don't wait till you turn blue. One of the things that I have discovered in some of the stories I've read, and we've heard this today as well, is patients who were sick for a week or two, and they wait and go to the hospital, and 3 days later they die. And you go, but they got to the hospital, but they got there too late. And one of my doctors many years ago, because I was scared to death of the bird flu, like I was panic driven because I travel a lot. And this was a long time ago. I was kind of young and ignorant. And I asked him, why are people dying from this? And he said, they don't get enough fluids in their body when they get sick. If your body dehydrates, it cannot fight off the sickness. You've got to keep it hydrated no matter how sick you get, how much you throw up. And they show that in the Ebola movie that I like. They make those people, no matter how hard it is to drink this water, drink it. Every time you just drink it, he would have a chart of when they're supposed to drink it. And they would even tell the story later. It was the most disgusting water they've ever had to drink their whole lives. But it was the people who could drink it that survived. Yeah. Right? It was the people who said, screw it, I don't care how bad it tastes, I don't care how much it hurts my gut when I put it in my body. Because if you've ever noticed, when you're really dehydrated and you put moisturizer on it, what happens? It burns. Yeah. Have you ever been so dehydrated and your skin's rough and you put moisturizer on it? It burns, it stings, right? Well, the same thing inside of your body, when it becomes dehydrated and you start putting stuff in it, it's going to hurt. And so this is what I tell people, what I learned about hydrating when you're very, very sick. If you can't get it in, drip it, little drops, and make sure it gets in your cheeks and under your tongue. But little drops of water, suck on ice if you can get ice. Some countries don't have access to ice. Another way, which I still think is kind of dangerous, but they say get a sponge on a stick like a lollipop, and you put the sponge on the stick. And you suck on the sponge or suck on a washcloth, right? Get you a very clean, sanitized washcloth, boil your water, and just suck on the washcloth. These sound like really bad ways to do things, but it's better than dehydrating. And that made sense to me when that doctor told me. It's the people aren't dying just from the flu, they're dying because they didn't take good care of their bodies and they waited till it's too late. So what do we do about this, right? So it's kind of a strange economic day. And Nick has disappeared. I hope he comes back so we can talk more economics. And people love Nick. Nick's funny. But let's kind of talk about the economics, right? If our health goes down, our economics are going to go down. I think when our health goes back up, our economics is going to go back up.
No, I completely agree. I mean, health is related to wealth, and if you are healthy, you can create your wealth easily. And health gives you a mental satisfaction. It gives you a peace of mind. It gives you confidence. It gives you fitness. It gives you activeness, and that will automatically related to your good working ethics, and that's what the health is all about. And I think. Couple of days back, we had a couple of people who were discussing about the good health and what are the best ways to live a lifestyle. So people are thinking that success is all about money, but I think that success is about good health, and good health will give you good money.
No, I agree.
It's not just about money. I mean, money you can earn money by different ways, but if you are not in good health, you are not able to spend that money on your own. And I don't know. I mean, people are doing a lot of work and they are earning a lot of money, but they're not able to spend that money on their own in the lifetime. And that money goes to charity or maybe someone else use that money. So unless you don't utilize your money, there is no point of earning, basically. What do you think?
Well, and I think that we need to stimulate that money. Don't sit on it. This is what I tell people. Don't sit on the money. In the stimulus check you get, most people probably already had it spent before they got it. It's not meant for you to put in the savings account and save it. It's called stimulus for a reason. It's meant to stimulate back into recycling into our society. What happens when you hit an economic downfall like this, people quit spending money. People quit we're not traveling. Yeah. We're not shopping. Unless you go online, right? But but we're scared to spend our money. There's a lot of people who've lost their retirement packages. I feel that my heart just feels for them. I think somehow or another we need to get out there and help the elderly, right, who have lost their any income that they had. I think these are things that we need to think about now, not be panicking about, can I get to work tomorrow? I'm sorry, but, and I also think for a solution, something that the leaders didn't think about, I think in India and other countries they did, is we should have said that no, no rent or because it could have been worked into the stimulus. No rent or mortgage bills have to be paid for 3 to 6 months. I think 6 months if we're going to lock down like this. Then what do? You send the mortgage people and the rent people the people's rent checks. All right. You don't give the people the money because they're not everybody's going to spend it where they're supposed to. Right. You got a lot of people who are going to, I got $50. I'm going to go to Vegas and gamble, or I'm going to go on this website and gamble and see if I can make 100. So, you know, so the best thing to do is like we do for the student loan program. And it's some student loans, they actually give the people the money. And we have proven over time, when you give the people the money, they go buy cars, they go buy parties, they clothes.
Really, so Kim, what happened? I mean, you know that there are a lot of universities in US who have their entrepreneurship cell. So post these studies, they offer students some kind of stimulus, maybe $500,000 or something like that, or maybe less. I mean, if they have a setup, and the basic amount is $5,000. Okay, that they will get, or they will give it to all the class members who are there on the entrepreneurship cell who wants to start the business. And you won't believe what those students do, because they don't know what's the market and what's the life after college. So they end up spending that money within Silicon Valley, meeting people, meeting VCs, and trying to understand what's going on. And after a month, they are zero, and now they have to start their own business, and they don't have any money.
Well, I told you this story. I mean, and I thought it was a brilliant idea and a brilliant young man. Is people just go and they make the videos, right? Raise $30,000 and spend $30,000 on a great video of their product dream. Not one prototype built. Not one program engineer. Because I asked, can I see the app? You raised $30,000. Can I talk to your engineers? Are you trying to develop the app? Is it halfway developed? Nothing. Yeah. So, but they had this great video, and granted, for years, a pitch deck, because everybody always says, where's your deck? I don't do decks anymore. People, I don't, if I ask for a deck, it might be because I already know who you are and I just want to see a briefing. But what I really want from anyone, if I'm going to look at investing, I want to see your business plan. Do not bring me a fancy video. I'm sorry, they bore me. I can watch Hollywood movies all day long. But don't sit there and show me that you raised $10,000 from your family and you bought and paid for a cool video. I'm sorry, I'm just, stack it up in Hollywood. So, and I love all the ideas. People have great ideas, but be smart. So if somebody had given me $10,000, of course, I know it's hard to find a software developer to build something for $10,000. I would have tried to build the prototype. I would have gotten, and I've done that. I 3D printed our watches, because the device that we had wouldn't fit with anything else. So we went and 3D printed the watches, all the parts to it. And so those are the things that I want to see. Great. You have a great dream. You have a great idea. Where's your market? Okay, you got this video. Let's put it up on Indiegogo. Let's show the world what your video is. And if the people buy it, then that's great. To me, that's even better. If you can go out and test market it on Indiegogo and people will buy into it, because I watched people buy into the world's coolest cooler. Have I ever shared this story with you, Ankit?
No.
Okay, so Indiegogo. You know what Indiegogo is? Kickstarter? Okay, so I go out and I got this device and everybody goes, Kim, you got to take it to Indiegogo because you're going to save lives. Well, nobody wants to save lives. This is what I've learned. So I went to Kickstarter and I went to Indiegogo, but never got anywhere. So this guy, he comes up with the world's coolest cooler. He's a guy who loves his backyard, loves his boat, right? And he decided he wants a cooler that does it all. That it's got built-in powered. You could, get the ice out, and it's got a blender built into it. And you put your stuff into the blender, and it got a speaker built into it, and it's even got a bottle cap popper. See if you can Google it and pull it up. So the first time he did just a real dry video. Hi, I'm so and so. He's sitting in his yard chair. It's really like blah, right? And so he's sitting in this yard aluminum chair, and he's got his world's coolest cooler in a backyard that just doesn't look great, right? And he goes, I got this world's coolest cooler. I am the coolest guy. And it pops open, gets out his drink. He's got the popper, right? And plays the music. He got, like me, 1 or 2 buyers. Did you not? He hires somebody to help him make a great video. And I'm talking a kick butt movie style video. And it's got it's got girls in bikinis sitting in the back of the boat with the world's coolest cooler and mixing up. So you know where they're selling it to, right? So he pulls this off, and he made more. He was the one who made more sales on the Kickstarter program than any other company in the world.
Wow.
He sold like 300 million. It was ridiculous. It was ridiculous. And my nephews bought one. So, because here's what's funny. I'm telling the story going, I can't believe this. He's not saving the world. But the first day you put it on the beach, every item in there is going to rot out, right? So here's what's sad. He had a prototype that he was showing on the video, right? When he went to build it, he couldn't get it, like the manufacturing of it and everything. So he missed delivery dates by 6 months or so. I don't know. But here's my story. He still made the money. He ended up delivering. I've seen it. I've seen one in person. And, but it took a long time. Like, he thought, oh, I'm just going to get the orders and take it to a manufacturer and they'll be able to. No, there was certifications because the electronics, you had to get UL approvals. So all of these things he didn't know that a business person like me would know. But because of people like me, it really, like, people go, oh, she doesn't know what she's talking about. I'm just going to do it. Well, there was another company very similar, had a tracking band for children, right? They spent $1.5 million building it, designing it, and finding a vendor. I think it was AT&T, might have been, AT&T, because I was working with Verizon at the time, and it's called Philippe. And if I were a parent, I would have bought it. Why? Yeah. Because it tracks your kids and it's cute, right? So so when I design something like that, I give everybody a breakdown of the price of everything, right down to the certifications that I need. And they go, oh, Kim, you cost too much. Cut some corners. And I'm not going to cut corners, not when a life depends on it. So when they went to do a deliverable after they made some initial sales, they couldn't deliver because they didn't get any certifications. So when they went to get certified, they failed. They go, what kind of certifications are you talking about? I'm not talking about just your standard UL. I'm talking about wireless, Wi-Fi. There's a thing where you've got to make your device so that it's within so many fractions of meters from your skin at all times. Right. So there's just all these things that people think, oh, I can, and even the developer who developed it didn't do that. So guess what happened to the $1.5 million investment? They had to throw it away. They had to throw it away. And they had to pay certifications. Now, certifications will not design it for you. They only certify. So they had to go back and redesign and go back, get certification, fail again, go back, redesign, go back and get certified. $2 or $3 million later, they have a built, it's certifiable, and they can't go to market. They're flat broke. So again, this is probably a talk we should be having on a Startup Wednesday, but it doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt to have it on Economic Monday, because that's economics. But the economics of it is, be smart about when you're going to market. Don't cut corners. Contact people like me who've taken things to market like that. We're going to have a gentleman on our show after May 1st, Brad Feld, who was one of the founding fathers of Fitbits. And when you hear, go watch a story on YouTube. It's phenomenal because of all the things they didn't think about. They just thought they were going to build a watch and go to market.
That's what
And
happened. People were using Windows earlier, and now no one knows about what Steve Jobs have been done and what kind of redesign they have done for their products. They have started with something else, and now they are using an iPhone, which is a altogether different model what they have started with. So
well,
it takes time, yeah, and
and
that's how.
the thing, and people told me, why don't you use stuff off the shelf? My stuff needs to be proprietary with a proprietary code so it can't be hacked, because my stuff is for law enforcement. I don't want to use a phone. Can I use a phone? Yeah, I can use a phone, but that's
Yeah.
not showing proof that it works with proprietary code. So so people were kept telling me, well, just sit down. No, the phone's not going to work. And then when you deal with, and this was my background, when you deal with the telephone industry, they stop making people become compliant to universal standards. And when you do that, then you're engineering for this, you're engineering for that. I mean, you're engineering for each different type of company. And when you get down to that, you spend a lot of money. If you want to become universal yourself, like an app, right? If you want to become universal, you got to build it for this, for iOS and Apple, and for Droid. And then there's a third one. I forget what it is. But you have to build it for each one. They're each different codes.
True.
People understand. And you got to pay your software developers. They don't work for free, people. They got to eat. This is why people, this is why people go, just go get your software. I got to pay them. Yeah. They don't work for free. And here's what's funny, if they did, then they would take the code and go sell it themselves. But even when you pay them, you risk that too. So be careful who you do business with. But what I want to tell you is that these things are not free for us to build. What makes them affordable for us to do is if you use them, and we get a lot of viewers, right? And if you get a lot of likes. But what people don't know as well is when they build an app, for it to stay there, every time these guys upgrade, guess what you have to do?
Yeah. That's how the industry works, basically.
So do you know how expensive that gets? People don't understand. I want to build an app. Do you know how many people? So I built my first app, right? And I did it more because I wanted the experience, but I also needed a prototype to show people how proof of concept, how something would work. So after that, everybody comes to me and expects me to build them an app for free. And I'm like, no. They think we just sit there in our PJs and work for nothing all day.
That's what happened in India. I mean, people have approaching me to do some work, and they never ask me how much it costs. It's like they think that I have a lot of people in my office, so they'll do it. They don't understand that there is always a cost involved in it. Whether you do an app, or whether you do a website, or whether you email something on behalf of someone, there is a cost involved basically, but they are not ready to understand. And when you talk about app, I mean, to say an app is easy. I'll tell you what happened. Apple did a survey in India, and they wanted to know why people are using iPhone in India. You won't believe, people are using iPhone just as a luxury, or maybe as a go-to thing basically, because someone is having an iPhone. It's kind of a big deal, okay, because it's costly as compared to Android phones, and none of them have been installing any apps.
Wow.
On a phone. So what are they doing with an iPhone? iPhone is not just about YouTube and WhatsApp.
And I'll tell people, just because somebody is smart and they have the connections, don't abuse them. Okay. And, use them. It's one thing to ask them questions, ask them for help, but also offer something, right? Because it's their time is valuable. It's like I told somebody one time, I hate saying this and I'm not being vain, but I've done a project for somebody where I was making $2,000 an hour. They paid me that. $2,000 an hour. So if I look back, I go, wow, everything I'm doing, I'm valued at $2,000 an hour. So when somebody comes and asks me, can you review this contract for me? I'm not an attorney, but I can review, Nick knows I can review contracts just as good as an attorney because of my business background, right? So, but that took me 2 or 3 hours of my day because I don't want to just look at it and glance at it and say, yeah, they put the highlight. I'm going to read every word. And I will tell you, I have found huge mistakes. And I found a huge mistake in my financial advisor's paperwork.
Okay.
No, I kid you not. So they were sending out these contracts to do conversions with all their clients, right? I read them. I was the only one. I was the only one to read them, right? And my husband and I, we have like 2 different accounts, right? So he counts on me to read the contracts, and then I tell him whether. So I read. He goes, "They're pressuring us to sign. They're pressuring us to sign." And I go, "Let me finish reading it. You just don't understand. This takes time." And it was pages, pages. So. So I read through it. I go, "No, I'm not signing it." He goes, "Why not?" I said, "Because if you do, then you have just, the way they worded this, they become the client now and they get all your money."
Yeah.
He goes, "What?" I go, "They can take all the money. The way this is worded, they can take all the money. You're no longer the client." He goes, "Where's that at?" I go, "Right here." And it was a huge paragraph.
Yeah.
And he goes, and he read it. He read it again. I said, "If you don't believe me, take an attorney." And so I don't know if he did or not. So our advisor called and I said, before I do anything, I want you to take this to your attorneys. He told me I was the only one who ever caught it. Their attorneys never even caught it. Now, do you think they went back and rechanged all the contracts with all those people?
They won't be doing
No. No.
it. No one reads
Now,
anything. If you invest in mutual funds, if you invest in equity, no one wants to read those big financial.
I read every one of them.
And you won't believe that the fonts are, they use the font number 4, 5 so that you can't read it.
I know. So that's what I do here. See, I do this thing. I put, if it's real small, I put it on my, and I zoom.
Okay.
or I scan it into my computer and I enlarge it. So people, if the smaller the print, the more odds they're going to. But here's the thing. He told me, he goes, "Kim, we never saw that." Oh my God. Now, moving forward, I know they've changed their contracts because I've read them. Now, do you think they paid me for that?
I know.
You think they should?
They should, but
I think, I think they should. I think they should pay me for that, or waive my fees for a year. But do you think they did? No, I saved them probably a huge lawsuit.
Yeah.
But the thing is you know, I missed out on an opportunity to make money. But my fear was if I made money, they could have put it all on their bank account and kept it. So. So those are the things I try to tell people. Don't. So like I was reviewing contracts yesterday. They burn my eyes now. They really do. They hurt my eyes. But I look at every little molecule. A lot of attorneys, they'll go, "Oh, it's got the confidentiality clause. Did you read it?" Well, it's got a clause. It was written by an attorney. Did you? So Nick, I like Nick. He reads everything, right? Nick reads every word. I do too, and it's not fun, people. Do you ever read all of the privacy contracts on your phone?
No one does it.
People, you have no privacy.
It's all about time. I know we should go about it, but I mean, it's just the time, and it's a lot of time we need to go about it.
So I used to, but I don't anymore. It's not worth it.
Yeah, there's a lot of privacy. Whatever you do in online or maybe with someone, there's the contract, and you just bypass. You have to say agree and then move on it. I mean, whether it's, if you use an email, if you use a Facebook, anything like that, there are a lot of contracts, and you just have to bypass a lot of things. And
what I'm granted, what I do like about Apple is their apps. They do qualify a lot of their apps. It's a 30 to 90 day qualification period. So I feel like Apple does a good job. That's why you have less viruses on Apple. Droid, I think they stepped up the game because they were getting a bad reputation. So I think going through those certification processes have been helpful. And we got our friend Mohammed. Hey.
So I think, Mohammed, good evening, and I think you should tell our viewers this is the Ramzan days going on, and what do you do and how it's all started.